Hi everyone, today we are looking at a question like this. Now, I want to look at sentence number 1 first. Okay, over here it says that on Saturday, there were 620 more girls than boys. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show that girls is actually greater than boys. Okay, by how much? By 620, and boys will just be this much, and this is simply just 1 unit. Okay, now once I'm done with this, I'm going to read sentence number 2. Sentence number 2 says on Sunday. Okay, so we know that this is Saturday. We want to note it down to not confuse ourselves. Okay, on Sunday, the number of boys increased by 28%. Now, when I see 28%, okay, what you want to do is you want to change that into a fraction. Okay, so you want to simply just put 28 over 100. So 28 over 100 is also 14 over 50, all right? And you can further simplify to 7 over 25, okay? So what we want to do is we always want to get to the simplest form, okay? The reason why I'm using fraction is because I realize that a lot of students, they are better in fractions than percentages, okay? So change all of your fractions into percentages and you will see how you'll be able to solve the question almost immediately, okay? So I can see that the number of boys increased in this sentence. Then if I were to read sentence number 3, right, it says that the number of girls decreased by 10%. So if they decrease by 10%, same thing, 10%, we do 10 over 100, all right, you cancel the 0 and you get to 1 over 10. Okay, if they decrease by 10%, that means to say they minus. Okay, so what you want to do is this. Okay, identify the concept. From here itself, what I can see is that the number of people or the number of children over here, okay, on Saturday is actually my before. Okay, on Sunday is my change. And finally, we can see my after over here. So I would treat this as a before and after question. Okay, I will treat this as a before and after question. I'll just put BNA over here. And if I know that this is BNA, I want to quickly draw a table. All right, and I want to show that boys is on my left, girls on my right. Okay, so we write B, which is before. Triangle means change. And finally, we have after. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to put in the figures. Okay, we know that boys is 1 unit. Always flush your figures to the left-hand side. Okay, so that you have more space, to note down anything that is necessary. Okay, so I go on to sentence number 2. It says that Sunday, the number of boys increased by 28%. So remember just now, we found that 28% is actually equals to 7 over 25. So we just have to simply do 7 over 25 times 1 unit, and that gives me 7 over 25 units. Okay, this means that the number of boys now is actually 7 over 25. How do I get 7 over 25? Because for this increase, that means I have to add. Okay, so you can see this as 25 over 25 as well. All right, now then we go on to the third sentence. The number of girls decreased by 10%. So we simply just do 1 over 10 times this whole thing, which is 1 unit plus 620. All right, so what you want to do is you want to use rainbow method. 1 over 10 times 1 unit, that gives me 1 over 10 units. Okay, and 1 over 10 times 620, that means 620 divided by 10, and we will get to our answer of 62. And we can see that over here for girls, it is to minus. Okay, so what we are going to do is this. 1 unit minus away 1 over 10 unit, that gives me 9 over 10 unit. All right, 620 minus away 62, that gives me 558. Okay, so why am I doing this? Okay, this part over here is simply telling me that I take out 1 over 10 from 1 unit and I take out 1 over 10 from 620. Okay, so my final value would be 7 over 25 units for boys and 9 over 10 units plus 558 for girls. So once I'm done with this, I can read sentence number 3, right? Sentence number 3 says in the end. So when they say in the end, you have to look at this part. All right, so you have to look at this part, okay? So what happens is this, is that, hey, there were 2,862 more boys than girls. Okay, so we can see that the number of boys is actually more than the number of girls. So I always tell my students this, right? In math, you always want to balance them. Okay, what do I mean? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write this out. Okay, this part that I've just highlighted in yellow. I'm going to write that 7 over 25 units is actually equals to 9 over 10 units plus 558 plus 2862. But you realize that without adding the 2862, if I didn't add the 2862, it doesn't make sense. They are not equal, right? So, okay, so that you'll be able to balance it. Okay, so therefore I gave 2862 to girls because 2862 more boys than girls. That means I have to add 2862 to girls. Okay, once you're done with this, you want to make sure that same family sit together. So the units is always on the left hand side. So we want to bring 9 over 10 over. So when I bring it over, what happens? I have to minus. Okay, so 7 over 25 minus away 9 over 10. So after that, you put 558 plus 2862 because this part is already in the correct position. Okay, so when we do 7 over 25 minus 9 over 10, we will get to 19 over 50. Okay, equals to 558 plus 2862. That gives me 3,420. So what you want to do is always find 1 over 50 first. So 3420 divided by 19, I'll get to 180. And quickly look for Mr. Greenman. All right, and that is 50 over 50. So that means 180 times 50. and you'll get to 9,000. Now, once you're done with this, you want to read the question. The question says, what was the total number of boys and girls at the zoo on Sunday? All right, so on Sunday, definitely I have to look at this part. All right, so this is the one that they want us to look at. So we first solve what is for boys, okay? We can see that for boys, it is 1/7/25 units. Okay, so since my 1 unit has the denominator 50, we want to change this to an improper fraction first. Okay, so we do 1 times 25 plus 7, we get to 32/25 units. Okay, and we want to make it into the denominator 50. So times 2 times 2, 32 times 2, therefore that is 64/50 units. Okay, and if I know that 1/50 is 180, as you can see over here, we just simply have to do 180 times 64. And we get to our answer of 11520, and this is the number of boys on Sunday. Okay, now then you want to also find out the number of girls, okay, the number of girls on Sunday. So for number of girls is 9/10. So what you want to do is same thing, turn it into 50, because my Mr. Greenman is 50, right? So over here you get 45/50. So since you know that 1/50 is 180, 45/50 units will now becomes 180 times 45. And you get to the answer of 8,100. But don't forget, you need to add the 558. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to add 558. Okay, so we are going to do 8,100 plus 558. All right, that gives me 8,658. Okay, since they want us to find the total number, we can write over here the total has to be, let's take it from the boys. I'm going to highlight the boys right now in green. So boys is over here, and of course girls, the total has to be the one that I've just highlighted. So it will be 11520 plus 8,658. And we get to our beautiful answer of 20,178, and therefore this is my answer for this question.